guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today, I've got a match against Blake from Twitter, and I'm still having some fun with all the Pokebank options. Honestly, I have all of my Pokemon back in my boxes, and they're stoked. So I decided to throw this team together. I wanted to use a Scarf Tapu Bulu just because I don't mess with Bulu a whole lot. Along with Mega Gyarados, who seemed fun, I got the old school SlimeShady, along with Mix Infernape, so that's pretty cool. Looking at my opponent's team, I am afraid of the Charizard potentially being Mega. He does have a Jolteon, which kind of causes me some problems. Along with the Nidoqueen, this man's got himself a pretty solid team. So let's go ahead and hop into it here. I decided to lead off with my Infernape, basically just to get a U-turn off. I kind of expected him to lead off with his Donphan, so I throw Caesar out here, and this guy hasn't seen the light of day forever, but he actually ends up leading off with his Hydreigon, and this is kind of an interesting first turn. He actually turns out to be Choice Scarf, and is able to outspeed me right here on the first turn. So a Draco Meteor is going to take care of my Infernape. And rather than going for the U-turn, I probably should have just hard switched there, but I got caught, and now I'm down 6-5, so I've got to deal with that. I no longer have Infernape, which kind of sucks, but now I'm going to go into my own dragon here. The real SlimeShady is ready to stand up, and at this point, I can scare this thing out with a Draco Meteor. I know that he did lose some special attack, plus Gudra can absorb pretty much any type of special attack, especially with the Assault Vest, so he actually ends up switching into Flexus A&M, which is a funny-ass name. He's going to take a Draco Meteor, so we're basically just throwing Dracos around here in these first couple turns. It is going to do a little bit over half, but obviously I'm going to lose some special attack, and I don't really want to take an Ice Punch. I know that's what this thing probably is going to want to go for, so I decided to switch into my Gyarados. So this was my safest option because I am going to get an Intimidate on the switch in. Plus, if he decides to go for Knockoff, he's not going to get rid of an item because I do have the Mega Stone. So he actually does end up going for the Knockoff rather than Ice Punch, so it doesn't really matter to me. And at this point, I'm free to go ahead and set up a Dragon Dance and Mega Evolve as he's going to switch into his Usain Bolteon. And so yeah, I go ahead and activate the old Keystone, and we are about to be the thickest shrimp in all of the land. So I bust out the Mega Gyarados, which I haven't actually used a whole lot, but I do really like this thing. It's got a badass design, and honestly, it's really nice having the Dark type swapped for the Flying type. So now this Jolteon is really not all that scary, especially after a Dragon Dance. I am going to be able to outspeed and hit this thing with an Earthquake, but I'm not afraid of this thing's electric attacks anymore. I am pretty damn bulky. That's why I'm named Thick Shrimp, because I'm thick as fuck. Got that HP investment and all that fun stuff, so I go for the Earthquake. He actually turns out to be Focus Sash, which I really was not expecting, but great for him. This is going to allow him to actually go for a Thunder Wave, which is basically going to stop Gyarados from going on his rampage that he was about to. So I am pretty damn bulky, so being paralyzed isn't the end of the world for me. So I'm actually just going to click Waterfall here because I have no reason to go for Earthquake. He does have a couple Pokemon that avoid Earthquake, so expecting him to want to switch out here, I actually end up going for the Waterfall. As he Volt switches, I'm able to live that relatively nicely, and he actually ends up switching into the Charizard, which is definitely a questionable play because a Waterfall is going to break through the paralysis, and that is a dead Zard. So getting rid of that thing was actually pretty damn good. That was a misplay on his end. He probably should have switched into his Hydreigon in the first place. He's actually going to go into that thing now. But the way I look at it, we're now even on misplays. I lost my Infernape early, and he lost his Charizard, so we're both down our fire types. And at this point, I do want to end up saving Gyarados, and I know he's probably going to want to go for a Draco Meteor, so I decided to switch into my Fairy type Clefable, as he actually makes a nice play and ends up going for the U-turn. So that's going to allow him to bring in whatever the hell he wants, and Chewed Gum's just looking vulnerable as hell out here, is he's going to bring in Tits McGee, rocking my Nidoqueen nickname, which I thought was pretty damn funny. But obviously, my Clefable doesn't want anything to do with this Nidoqueen, so I do have to switch here, and I actually just decided to go into my Gyarados. I was looking at it, weighing my options, and if there's anything that wants to come in and take a Sludge Wave, I guess it has to be Gyarados because I am paralyzed, and I'm not at the best amount of health, so I decide to sack off Gyarados, as he actually ends up going for the Stealth Rock here, which I was not expecting. Kind of caught me off guard, so he sets the rocks up, which is going to be kind of unfortunate for me, and at this point, he's still going to be able to outspeed me because I am paralyzed. So an Earth Power is going to land on Gyarados, which is kind of funny because I'm like floating and shit, but I lost my Flying type. So down goes Gyarados, although this is kind of good news because I can bring in whatever the hell I want. So I decided to actually bring in Donphan, which kind of was a bad play. I know I can take at least one Ice Beam from this thing, and I will be able to fire back with an Earthquake, but I expected much more damage from the Earthquake here. So I take the Ice Beam to the face, and I go ahead and shake the ground here. I basically just needed to whittle down this Nidoqueen to make it easier to kill later. So I go for the Earthquake. It is going to do over half, which is kind of nice, but it was a misplay on my end because I actually thought this Donphan had more attack investment, but it turned out to be actually just max defense and max HP. So I do have a couple different Donphans, so I kind of brought the wrong one, but it doesn't really matter a whole bunch because looking at my options here, SlimeShady does not give a shit about switching into a super effective Ice Beam, especially if it's non-stab. So I bring in SlimeShady, who's still at full health here, not looking too bad at all. Get hurt by a little bit of Stealth Rock, so that's fine. But Tits McGee is going to fire off another Ice Beam here, and look at this damage. Did nothing. So that's pretty damn awesome. And at this point, I can scare this thing out with pretty much any of my attacks. I know that he's not going to want to stay in here, so he's weighing his options, and by the look of his team, he doesn't have a whole lot that wants to come in on a Draco Meteor, so he actually decides to switch into Donphan here. Egg Roll comes out, and a Draco Meteor is going to land on this thing's face, and that's going to do a buttload of damage. He's not going to be able to take two of them, obviously, and I am going to be able to actually outspeed this thing. So all I really have to do is let SlimeShady just stay in here and finish it off with one more Draco Meteor. So I actually kind of expected an Ice Shard here just to get a little bit of damage, but I really didn't have any reason to switch out here. So I just decided to stay in, go for another Draco. He doesn't hit me with the priority, and that is going to be a dead Donphan. So that thing wasn't really too big of a problem to my team at all. So that's kind of why he decided to sack it off there. But down goes Egg Roll, and now he is able to bring in whatever he wants here. So he decides to bring back in the Hydreigon, obviously because I have basically no special attack at this point, and I can't really take a Draco Meteor in return. So I decide to switch out, and I'm just going to go directly into Chewed Gum. But he actually makes the prediction here. He expects Clefable to come in, so he's going to lock himself into Flash Cannon, and that is unfortunately going to do just a little bit too much to me, to the point where I can't take two. So that kind of sucks, and I don't really feel like switching out here. I don't really want anything else to take any damage, so I actually just decide to let Chewed Gum try to get a minimum roll here or something like that. But unfortunately, he's just going to go for a Flash Cannon again, and that's going to take out Clefable. So not really the end of the world, because this does allow me to switch right back into Goodra, who's looking really damn good against his team at this point, so I'm kind of trying to conserve Goodra here. So I switch back into SlimeShady, and I'm just going to go for the Draco Meteor yet again. The Stealth Rock is kind of taking its toll on me, but I'm still over half, which is good news. So he's actually just going to switch directly into the Jolteon. He's going to sack this thing off basically to be able to get some more momentum on his side. So I go for the Draco. It is going to land. I only have actually a couple more PP left in Draco Meteor, so I've got to kind of use these sparingly. But that's going to take care of Usain Bolt there, and I'm going to lower my special attack. So Goodra is putting in the finest of work as of so far. So now he's going to go back into Flexus A&M, and Goodra does not want to fuck with this Machamp. I mean, who would? Look at this guy's arms. He got fucking 4 of them. He's swole as hell. So Goodra's kind of afraid. I know that the Ice Punch is coming, but I decide to switch into Tapu Bulu here just because I know that I can take at least one of them, and then I will be able to outspeed because I am Choice Scarfed and kill this thing with a Horn Leech in return. So I set up the Grassy Surge, making shit all beautiful and green. Snoop Dogg would be proud, but he goes for the Ice Punch. Bulu is able to live that rather nicely, and I do get some health back because of the grassy terrain and all that fun stuff. So all I'm going to do is just lock myself into Horn Leech here because it's going to get me some health back, and it's going to be enough to take care of the Machamp. But he actually ends up switching back into the Nidoqueen here, which is really honestly fine by me. I'm thinking that he doesn't know that I'm Choice Scarfed, so the Horn Leech is going to do enough to be a 2-hit KO, plus I'm getting some solid health back here, and Bulu's looking pretty damn nice. I honestly don't really use the Tapus a whole lot, but I do actually have some fun with Tapu Bulu. So I'm sitting pretty solid here, and I am going to be able to outspeed, and one more Horn Leech is going to take care of Tits McGee. You hate to see Tits McGee go down because I do love Nidoqueen and the nickname, but one more Horn Leech is gonna end up killing that thing. So down goes the Nidoqueen. That is a pretty big threat out of the way, and Bulu is putting in the finest of work. So I'm gonna get all of my health back, and then after the grassy terrain, I'm sitting at like almost full health here. So his last 2 Pokemon are the Machamp along with the Hydreigon. So at this point, I do really need to save Goodra because it does beat the Hydreigon. That thing is Scarf, so it's going to be faster than anything on my team. So he brings out the 3-headed dragon here. I know that he's not going to lock himself into a dragon move, obviously because he's in against a fairy. So here I actually just decide to go into Donphan just to kind of sack this thing off to be able to get a free switch in. So he actually does end up going for the Flash Cannon, and that's fine by me. It is going to take care of Donphan, but I don't really care because this is going to allow me to switch right back into Goodra, so things are looking pretty good. He is locked into the Flash Cannon right now, so I don't expect him to want to stay in, so I know that the Machamp is probably going to come out here. And I actually just decided to go for the Thunderbolts on the incoming Machamp. I didn't want to lose the special attack from Draco, so plus I wanted to conserve. I think I only had 1 Draco Meteor left, actually. So I go for the Thunderbolts, and unfortunately for him, it's actually going to end up getting the Parahacks, which kind of sucks because he would have been able to outspeed me and kill me off with an Ice Punch, which really does kind of suck. But I guess hacks does happen, so I'm actually just going to stay in and finish this thing off with Thunderbolts just so that I conserve my Draco Meteor. But so I'm going to be able to finish off this Machamp with Thunderbolts as he's actually going to get paralyzed this turn. But looking at it, if he would have ended up killing my Goodra, it would have been completely fine because I would have been able to go into Tapu Bulu, who is at about 90% health, and after running the damage calcs against the Hydreigon, a Choice Scarfed Hydreigon only does about 60% with Flash Cannon to Tapu Bulu. So either way, I would have been able to finish off the match with Bulu, but Luckily, it's looking like Gudra is going to be able to finish this thing off. So he's going to go into the High Dragon. He has to lock himself into Flash Cannon because I do still have Tapu Bulu. So that's going to be pretty much the end of the match there, as I'm able to finish this thing off with the Draco Meteor. So that was a pretty damn good match. The paralysis was kind of a bummer, but I guess it didn't really end up mattering in the long run because Bulu was going to be able to finish off the match regardless. But I thought that was a pretty interesting match. I do try to keep these battles that I upload to my channel relatively close. Like, I want to have battles that are honestly coming down to like the last couple plays, just because to me that's the most exciting thing to watch. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe for more Wi-Fi battles. Peace out.